Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel that you can use to your advantage. First of all, I want to thank everybody for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Everybody out there that's showing me love, I appreciate that with all my heart. And I also want to thank everybody for the positive feedback. I'm really happy that I've been helping you guys in getting the stuff done, and I really appreciate everything. And I want to send out a big shout out to the people from Las Cumbres, Panama, and from Venezuela. With all my heart, man, you guys make me, you guys encourage me to keep going. And all the people that have been commenting on my videos, they like my videos, that I do a great job. I want to thank you all. I want to send a shout out to all of you from the United States of America. I also got another comment that says, God bless you for sharing your knowledge. And you know what? This is the reason why I like to share what I know, because people out there need us. So if you are watching this video right now, anything that you know, share it. And if you don't know nothing, hang around with people that know, that show you how to do things, or go get an education, a side job, or anything that you want to do. And then once you learn that, you can always show other people how to do it and help each other grow in this world. And we all need each other to support each other and to take care of each other. So everything that I know that is possible to fit in my brain, I will send it out to you guys through YouTube or through any media. And I will take advantage of the internet to get to you guys. And I really appreciate, I'm really thankful for having you guys and supporting me. Okay, so the purpose of this video is because I got a question. It says my washer doesn't have the strength enough to take the water out of the clothes. So today we are gonna fix that. There's a couple problems that might have caused that, for the water to stay soaking once your washing machine drain the water out. So stay tuned and follow me, and I will show you step by step how to fix it and how to get rid of that problem. If your washing machine is not draining the water out properly and is leaving your clothes all wet, especially if you there's different types of washers of the system inside. But if your washing machine that you have is a Kenmore like this one, I show you the things that could be causing that problem. The problem number one, read here. If it says a 2-speed motor, that that means that either there could be a rag stuck in between your two drums, or it could be your capacitor. So you may replace your capacitor, or your transmission. That's for the washers that say 2-speed or any other washers. But if your washer is a Kenmore and it looks exactly like this one, but it says 3-speed, that one has 4 things that could go bad with it. The first one that I said, it was check in between your drums to see if there's any rags or anything stuck in there. Number 2, to check your capacitor, switch your capacitor. And third, the transmission. And fourth, your motor. If it's a 2-speed like this one, most common is the transmission. But if it's a 3-speed motor, most common is the motor. The motor, what happens is when it starts draining the water out, the motor overheats and then it starts slowing down and until it stops. But if you a two-speed motor like this one, definitely for sure is the transmission or the capacitor. One thing before I forget, another way that you can tell if your numbers up there where it says 2-speed or 3-speed, if they're faded away and you cannot read it, that way that you can tell that if it's a 3-speed, the motor will have an extra cable on the side somewhere around here that it'll come out, and it has like a little black connector or a white connector, and you'll have a separate cable coming from the wire harness, and you have to hook it up separate. That will let you know if it's a 3-speed motor. If it has that, if it's a 3-speed motor, and if it doesn't have that cable coming out, only a simple wire harness that goes straight to the motor, then that lets you know that that's a 2-speed motor. The washer that we'll be working on today is a Kenmore. You could do the same thing to the Grosley, Amana, Whirlpool, Estate, KitchenAid, and many more. Always make sure that when you are going to work on an appliance and that you are gonna take it apart, make sure that first you unplug it from the wall to prevent any accidents, and make sure that you turn off all the waters to prevent any floodings, and so you could get the job done. So first of all, we're gonna get our flathead screwdriver, and we're gonna remove these lids here. Under here there's a screw that's holding the board in place, so that way that we take this off, we put the flathead screwdriver in here and then pull it out. Do the same thing with the other side. Put the flathead here, twist it, and they'll come out. Once we took those lids off, then there's a screw right here that you could see on the board, and we're gonna use a Phillips screwdriver. Put it in there, and then we take them out. We got one on the right side, and we got one on the left side. Once you remove both of the screws, then all you gotta do is reach around the back of the board, pull it towards you, and then you pull it up and swing it around. This is the reason why we gotta pull it towards you first and then swing it around, because you got these little two hooks. They go in those squares right here, so they'll make it stable, so they won't be flapping all over the place when you put the screw back in there. Here we get our flathead screwdriver again, and you got these little notches here. You have like a little hook in there. This is hooked up to the back of the wall, and it's hooked up to the casing of the washer. So when you put a flathead screwdriver in there, you put it in that gap right there, and then you leverage back to the board, and that should pop right out. Take it out, and then do the same thing with the other side. Put it in there, leverage back, and then there you go. Don't forget to disconnect your switch wire here. So we take it out. Has like a little lever here that you pull back, and then you take it out. And once you unplug the power and you took off those hooks, then you could remove the casing from the washer. Now whether you remove the casing is, you always gotta hold the board, hold it towards you, hold it like this. You open this lid, and then you tilt it you tilt it your way, and then it should come on. Then you let go the back, and then you drag it out. And then there you go, you have the casing off, and you have your washer all naked. So you could see more in detail what's going on under here. I picked this washer off the street because they were gonna throw it in the trash. So everything that I'm showing on the videos for you guys is everything that I found, that I picked up from the streets. And I decided to fix them, clean them up, and make a little money on the side. Now that we have it open, we are gonna go to our agitator here, which is broken also. If your agitator is spinning like this, I have another video where it shows you how to fix this. But right now we're not worried about the agitator. Right now we are going to fix what the cost it is from not spinning all the water out of the clothes. So first of all, you get a flathead screwdriver, and there's like a little gap in here. So you put your screwdriver in there, and then you twist it, and it should come right out. Once you took off the lid of the agitator, then in there you could see it's gonna be a 7/16 socket with an extension to take that out. That's to remove the agitator. Once you remove or loosen up the bolt in there, and all you gotta do is just pull it back, pull it out, and about. You put your hand down here and you pull it. Sometimes these things get hard, so you gotta use both your hands and wiggle it until it comes out. Okay, so this is one of the first reasons why this washer could be spinning but not fast enough. So we are gonna take this plastic off because there's sometimes that either a rag or underwear, a sock, anything falls in there and is making pressure or is getting stuck between the plastic drum and the inner drum. So it gets stuck in there, and that prevents from the washer spinning fast enough to drain the water out. The way that you take this lid off is by these little hooks that are right here. All you gotta do is snap them out. The way that you take this out when they're stuck, you gotta push them down and then take them out. Push it down and take it out. And the same repetition all around the top. And there's one more over here. And then that should just come out. Oops, one more over here. So once you got this off, then you check in there, around there, to see if there's any rags, anything. So this one's good with that. So now our next thing, and for sure that we have to change, is the transmission. If we find out that there's no rags or anything getting stuck in between, then your main problem of the water not draining out properly is your transmission. So this is the top of the transmission right here, and now we have to flip the washer over so that way we could take it out from down there. So now here that we have our washer flipped over on this back, then we get to see right here, we get this right here, this is the water pump, this is the motor, and this is the transmission right here. So in order to get to the transmission, we have to remove the water pump and we have to remove the motor. First, with our flathead screwdriver, we are gonna remove these clips from the water pump. All you gotta do is just put it under it and then twist it and push it, and they should pop right out. Then once those two clips are removed, then you should be able to take the water pump out. Make sure that you disconnect it from here. You disconnect the motor. You disconnect the motor, and then you disconnect this little tab that it has right here. It's a capacitor that makes the motor. I almost forgot about this too. This here is your capacitor. This gives more power to the motor to spin faster. So you might want to replace that too. So if your washer is not spinning fast enough, and you already shake the drum and there's no rag stuck over there, then you replace your capacitor. Once you replace the capacitor, and if it's still doing the same problem, then that's gonna be your transmission. But another thing too, if you have a washing machine that says 3-speed, that could be your motor burning out. But if you have a washing machine that has 2-speed, then that definitely is your transmission or your capacitor. Then we press this clip right here, take it off of the transmission. Remove these things, and now we got to remove these two tiny bolts. They are 1/4 inch. So right here we get a 1/4 inch socket screwdriver. So we take this off. Flathead screwdriver, you put them in here, and then you leverage the hooks. This hook has to come out. One on the other side. And then like that, the motor should come out. You just pull it towards you. There's the motor. Now that we got easy access to the transmission here, we're gonna get a size 13 socket to take this nuts off. You got 1, you got 2, and you got 3. You got 3 of them here. So we're gonna go ahead and take those out. it gets stuck up there, so you gotta pull it a little hard. And that's how you pull out the transmission. This right here you gotta replace. It goes in that hole right there. So once you remove that transmission, then all you gotta do is go to the local appliance store or parts store and you get your new transmission and replace it. Once you replace the transmission, that should take care of your not spinning fast enough to drain the water out. And now that you know how to take a transmission and replace it, now I'm gonna show you how to put it back together. So we get our transmission, put it in the hole. We get our little 3 studs or 2. Okay, so right here, this part, when you're putting the motor back in place, sometimes it's a little iffy, so you gotta make sure that you position this whichever way you want it. Like me, I always like to position it like this. And the bottom too, you gotta match it up with the motor. So you got this thing up towards the washer and the 2 towards you. So you do the same thing here. You first, this piece of cardboard indicates that your motor has to be facing down like this. Okay, so your motor has to be like this. And the transmission is laying down like this. And also another thing right here, it has 4 holes, and that's for the motor mounts. These 4 motor mounts go in those holes, which you can move them. They come off, but just leave them in there. And this is, in another video, I will show you the problems that this might cause too. So what you do here is you just put this there. Just put it in there, and that'll be easier for your motor to go in there. So whenever you're putting your motor back in there, you make sure that you line up the motor mounts in the holes. And your motor is gonna be like a little bit lopsided like this. So what you do here is you spin the plastic in here and it goes in. Once you have it flat, you get your long extensions. You put them in those little gaps right here. You turn them around and then they should snap up here. And then do the same thing with the other side. The little gap is down there. Put it in there. And then you snap it up here. Don't forget to get your screws here. Put them in there. We got one there. we got one over here. We get our socket. Once you put your motor supports in there, then you get your water pump, and you gotta put that rod. You have to go in there, and that is what makes the water drain out when the motor is spinning. The way that you put the water pump is you put it in there, and then you spin this, and it goes in. Right here you get your water pump supports here. Put them in the holes. Get your water pump support, put in a little hole, turn it, and then you just press it in. And there you go. So with our wire harness, get the plug for the transmission first. Then after that you hook up your capacitor. Right here we had a problem with the capacitor. So we're gonna have to replace the capacitor. This thing broke up from there. So this is what the problem is on this washer. But anyways, the purpose of this, it was to change the transmission. Okay, so now that we got our washing machine all buttoned up together, we have our cable connected, we have our water pump in place, motor and the transmission back in place. Then we are going to put our ring back. Once you have your ring back in place, all you gotta do is just push it, put a little pressure on there so that thing could go back in there. And there you go. Now that we are ready to put our casing back together, let me just show you a couple of things that we need to make sure they are not right here before we put the casing and the frame of the washer. We have little studs that come out of that, and they gotta make sure, like this one is bent right here, so we gotta get a little flat screwdriver and we'll fix that right now. By fixing this, that will prevent from the casing to coming off of the washer when you put it back together and you try to move it, set it up where you want it at. So we do the same thing with the other side. See, this one's good. And you can see it right there. And the back two over there. So they're all good. And right here on the casing, I will show you that's where those hooks go. We're right now inside the casing. That's where those little hooks go. You gotta make sure. I know this washer looks real bad, but I'm just using it for the purpose of this video. But later on, with time and everything, I will take time and detail it and make it look nice and clean. How we end up painting the frame and cleaning all this stuff off. Now the way that you put the casing back in, you hold it up, you bring it to you, do that same thing like when you took it off in an angle, you put it back in an angle too. So you gotta make sure that you go under the railing of the washer. You go under it, and once you put it in, then you gotta get your board here, put it up, and you pull it towards you, because if you don't pull it towards you, this is gonna be on the way of the casing. So you gotta make sure that you pull it towards you, and then you let it fall in there. Make sure that those little hooks under here, they go in. So then here, once we got the casing on, remember these hooks, we put them in those gaps in the wall. And when you put that there, all you gotta do is just with your hand like this, put pressure on it, should snap right in there. The same thing with this side. Don't forget to connect your power back in there. Flip this around. You put this in there, push it back. Do the same thing here. Push it back. And then we get our Phillips screws, put them in there. Once we put our Phillips screws in there, then we get our lids, and we make sure that you put it in there from the bottom first. You have like a little stick that goes in the little gap in there. Put it in there. You line up this little gap too with that little line, and then once you have it like that, then you just put pressure on it. Do the same thing with this side. And there you go, sir and madam. Remember, guys, on the agitator, when we had there and it was spinning like crazy, and I fixed that right away for you guys. Right here we have this part, which are called agitator dogs. Oh, oops. We get those, and we get the agitator piece on the inside. It has like a little support here. You put the agitator dogs in here. It has like a little slot where they go in, so they could just be flipping there like that, and they won't come out no more. Then you put your support. There you go, you got it. There you go. No, you spin one way, but the other way you get stuck. Now, when you're putting your agitator back in place, when you're putting this bolt in there, it has a rubber seal for the water, so it won't leak into the transmission. Once we put our bolt in there, then we got our lid. Now all we do is smash it in there, and voila! So now your agitator is good. Now it doesn't, well, it spins to one side, but it has to wash to the other side. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you change your transmission. Hopefully they help you a lot. So there you go, guys. I hope that you guys learned something from this video today. I hope that what I showed today, it fixed your problems and that your washing machine is up and running now. And don't forget that everything that you learned today in this video, you can always show somebody else, or make some extra money on the side. And always remember to stay happy, healthy, and positive. Thank you guys for taking your time, and you guys have a blessed day. Until the next video, see you guys. Thank you.